Hi, I'm Jeremy. Today I'm going to take a look at a puzzle game put out by Abacus Spiel by the name of Number 9. I should note that this is a German/English version, so it has rules for both versions, and the components are language independent. This is a simultaneous puzzle solving game that plays from 1 to 4 players in about 20 minutes or so. The box says ages 8 and up, which makes a lot of sense. And it is similar to games such as Karuba or Take It Easy, where you are going to be simultaneously solving a puzzle, flipping up cards to determine the order that you're going to place tiles onto a play area. So let me take a minute just to show you how the game works, and I will come back and let you know what I think about the game. Playing Number 9 is actually pretty easy. First of all, you get this deck of cards, and the game will last with over 20 rounds with you flipping over 1 card each round. And you also get this tray which has number tiles in it, and there's 8 of each going from 0 to 9. And these are in different shapes. The colors don't matter. So what happens during the game is that you simply flip over 1 card, and then each player is going to take a tile, and these are tiles are in different shapes, so they'll take a tile that matches the number on the card. They have to be played in any orientation with the number facing up, so they can't flip the tile over. So the first tile, there's going to be no decision to be made at all. The second tile, then, players will have to choose where to put it. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to create essentially a platform on which you could stack tiles, because on the bottom level, tiles are going to be worth 0 points, but as you stack them up, they'll be worth more points depending on the level that they're on. So a tile on level 1 will score its actual value. So for example, well, this is a 5. We probably couldn't add it here, because whenever you're adding a tile on top of a tile, you can never place it so that it's over a gap. So this 5 would not be legally placed here. You can also never place it so that you are stacking it only on 1 tile. So, for example, this 1, if I had it, it could not be placed on this 4 like this. It has to at least cover 2 tiles. So, for example, this would be a legal placement here because it's on the second level, but it's on at least 2 tiles. So, players are simply going to keep doing this, either building their platforms out, trying to avoid creating gaps, or stacking tiles up so they'll be in a position to score. So now I've got a 0. That doesn't make any sense to stack that one up, just because it'll never be in a position to score, so I'll just use it to extend my platform. So now I get a 9, so I probably want to make sure I put that on one of these tiles so it will score. So for example, if I put that here, it would be worth 9 points at the end of the game. So anything on level 1 is worth 0, anything on level 2 is worth 1 times the number. So this would be worth 9 points at the end of the game because it's a 9 on level 1. Then I could keep going. So I have a 6, let's just say I put that here. Then if I get an 8, I probably again would want to make sure that I stack that on here somehow. And this is actually surprisingly tricky, I find. Maybe it's my lack of spatial reasoning ability, but I find this game harder than a lot of games of this type where all players are going to be trying to solve a puzzle simultaneously as the cards determine the order of pieces you place. But this would be worth 8 points. Then I got another 8, so for example I could place that here because it's going to be placed on more than 1 tile, but because it's on level 3 it'll be worth 2 times 8. So if the game had ended right now, this would be worth 16 points. Then you would look at the next row, plus 8 points, plus 9 points, so that would be 33 points total. So that is simply it. There are, like I said, 20 cards that you're going to go through, and all players are going to get all the same cards. And each number is going to come up twice, so you will know that by the end of the game. And then simply each player will score their display and see who has the most points. Alright, so that is Number 9. So it's spelled NMBR9, just in case you're looking up the game. And it is, I think, a surprisingly challenging puzzle game. There's a lot of games of this type, but this one I think challenges you in a way that a lot of these games don't. That spatial puzzle, some players I think are going to be naturally better at that than others. It is going to be a major factor in determining whether or not you like this game. If you are going to enjoy that type of spatial puzzle, you'll probably like this, but I have to warn you, some players will just feel that they're no good at this. And because of the way the scoring works, the points could be really swingy. If you are able to place an 8 or a 9, several layers up, you will probably win entirely just based on that move. Even if other players have more, level 1 tiles of lower values. I'm not sure that that is necessarily the most fair way to play, but at the same time, all players are going to have the tiles come out in the same way. So, it could just, come down to one move, and I'm not entirely sold on that idea. However, I think the game is quick enough, it plays in about 15 minutes or so, that if you make a bad move, it's not going to ruin your day. You're just going to either want to play again or move on to another game, and I think that's fine. Component-wise, it's fine. I think that the tiles, them being cardboard, I don't think I necessarily stated that, but they're cardboard tiles here. Does mean that from time to time they're going to stick together a little bit as you interlock them. If they were plastic, I think that the game would work even better probably. But for a game that is relatively inexpensive, I guess the cardboard tiles are acceptable. I have noticed sometimes when playing that it sometimes is tricky to make sure that you don't accidentally shift a tile that's laying on top of another tile also. So that's another minor component issue, something that you just have to make sure players are aware of, that they're careful not to accidentally move tiles around, because there is no moving a tile once you place it. So all in all, I think that this is a pretty decent entry in the genre of these simultaneous puzzle-solving games. It's one that I think that the scoring is, easy to grasp. Once you get over the hurdle that level 1 does not score anything, that you start your one-time multiplier on level 2 and go up from there. That's a little bit counterintuitive. But other than that, I think that the game, the objective of it is clear. It's a decent casual or introductory level game. However, it's one that I think that will have a niche of players who like it more than others. For some players, who don't like doing these sorts of spatial puzzles, it will fall flat. So just be aware of that. Know your group that you're going to play with it, and then make a decision whether or not Number 9 is a game for you. So thanks for watching. Those are my thoughts on Number 9.